Hi, welcome to Kuhn, Kraft Yoga and Design. This is week 4 of our January fitness challenge. And we are going to start out this week with some yoga cardio, and we're going to have a whole class done in 15 minutes or maybe a little less. We're going to get right into it and start to warm up the body. When you're ready, we're going to push back into a downward facing dog. Let's just take a moment in our downward facing dog. Just as we settle in, this could be the very first thing you're doing for the day. So your heels don't have to touch. Maybe you want to walk the feet out, pedal them out for a moment or two. Shift from the left hip to the right. And when you're ready to begin, we're going to inhale the left foot up to the sky for a three-legged dog. So the hips are even, we're pointing the toes, we're really driving into that left toes and reaching out through the back body. Push the hands down into the mat. And when you're ready, we're going to bend that left knee, draw the foot to the glute, and start to stack the left hip on top of the right. From here, we're going to take a few hip circles. Let's go 3 in one direction. And then we'll reverse. And from here, we'll return to our three-legged dog, so the hips are back to an even position, the shoulders are even, and we'll draw the left knee up and take it into a half pigeon. Keep the back toes tucked. You may need to walk the back leg out a little bit. Sitting onto that left glute. From here, we're going to take the hands off of mat. If you can, bring them to heart center. If you do need the fingertips to touch, you can certainly do so. From here, we're going to squeeze the glutes, press into that front left shin, and just lift ourselves up off of the mat, activating into the outside of that left leg and the hip flexor, and then return back to the mat. Settle back down, lift it up for 1, and lower for 2. Lift up for 3, 2, and lower. Lift up for 3, and lower. Lift up for 4, and down. 5, and down. Awesome. From here, we're going to keep the back toes tucked. And if you can do this without using your hands, you're going to shift just slightly onto the left hip and then draw the right leg forward. Pressing the foot out in front of you, flexing the right foot, and then shift back onto the left hip and draw the right foot back, returning to your half pigeon pose. This requires a little coordination and also strength into the hips. So if you do need to use your hands, that's fine. We're going to go for 5. Extending out front and returning behind you. For 4, shift the leg back. Bring it in front of you for 3. Moving back. Take it to the front for 2. Returning behind you. And last one, take the foot out front and then return the back leg behind you nice and straight, returning to your swan pose. I revert into yin yoga every once in a while for your half pigeon, We're going to place the hands down in front and then lift up that left knee, drive it to the chest, step it back behind you, come into plank. We're going to set up for awkward plank, and if that's too hard for you, you can go ahead and stay right in your plank pose. You'll get a nice core activation either way. If you're looking to set up for awkward plank, you may want to take the hands out just slightly wider than the shoulders for a wider base, and then the feet maybe slightly wider than hip width distance. We're going to begin by maybe coming up onto the left fingertips, then maybe onto 2 fingers, maybe 1. Maybe extend that left arm out long beside your left ear. If you can, start to reach the right toes, lift them up. Engage the core, keep the hips lifted. And if you can, draw the left elbow to the right knee. You'll wobble. If you fall, that means you're trying. Let's do that 2 more times. Draw the elbow and knee together. Extend it out. And then draw the elbow and the knee together once more. Extend it out for your awkward plank. Return back to plank. From here, we're going to shift forward, bringing the shoulders in front of the wrists, and then lower down for chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, push back to your downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, you can step or you can jump up. Place the feet in between the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. On the next inhale, we're going to bend the knees and rise up to mountain. Maybe take a little back bend. From mountain, we're going to bend the knees deeply, lower down, bring the arms out in front of you for chair. From chair pose, keep the lower body, the hips low, keep the legs the way they are, and then take the fingertips. See if you can graze the earth as you bring the hands behind you and open up the wings for airplane arms. Gaze can be slightly down. When you're ready, we're going to reverse that motion. Take the fingertips, graze the floor, bring the arms out in front of you, press through the legs, rise up for mountain. We'll take that 2 more times. Slowly lower down, arms out in front. And with one nice movement, we're going to graze the floor with our fingertips and then bring the arms back into airplane wings. Reverse it, fingertips touching the mat, lifting up, driving through the feet, coming up to mountain. Let's lower back down. Coming into chair, keeping the chest lifted, but bringing the arms back behind you. And then reverse it, fingertips to the floor, drive up, lift up with the chest. Bring the hands down, heart center. From here, we're going to take a balancing posture. Draw the left knee in to the chest. Give it a little squeeze. When you're ready, you could take your peace fingers, grab a hold of the left big toe, extend the left foot out in front of you. Balancing here, staying strong in the core, draw everything together to the midline. You can stay here or you could open up the left foot out to the side for a bit of a balance challenge. Inhale, return to center. Exhale. Release the foot, keep it lifted, draw the left hand to the hips. And then from here, let's take an inhale. We're going to start to shift from the standing balance into a warrior 3. Shift the left foot back, balancing strong on the right foot. And then release the arms, bring them out to airplane wings. Flexing the back foot. We're going to start to rise up, return from where we came. Extend the left foot out in front of us. Flexing the foot, hands back on the hips. We'll go back to warrior 3, shifting back, starting to flex the foot, extend the arms out again into airplane wings, and then return back to standing. That right leg is working. Extend the left leg out long. It doesn't need to come up super high. We're going to shift back once more, starting to wobble, extend into warrior 3. And if you lose it like I did, that's fine. Just come right back into it. It's good to see that we are all human. Let's lower the hands back down and place them right in front of the right foot. And then from here, we're going to lower the head, lift the left foot up to the sky for standing splits. From your standing splits, we're going to bend that left foot, draw it into the left glute, and then draw the whole knee and the entire leg into the chest as we round the upper body, keeping the right leg straight, maybe lifting the head slightly. And then from here, drop down, allow the head to lower, lift the left leg up for standing splits. Again, rounding the upper back, drawing the left knee into the chest, and then lift the left leg up for standing splits. One more time. Draw the left knee in, and then extend it up into your standing splits. From here, can you softly lower the left foot to the mat as we come into runner's lunge. From runner's lunge, place the hands down, step the right foot back, and we're going to push back into downward facing dog. Go ahead and take a breath here in downward facing dog. Exhale it out through the mouth. One more. And exhale it out. From here, let's inhale the right leg up to the sky. 3-legged dog, hips are even. And then we're going to bend the right knee, draw the right foot towards the glute. Open up the right hip. So now the hips are attempting to stack on each other. And we're going to open and draw some hip circles on the right side. Let's do 3 in one direction. And then we're going to reverse it and go in the opposite direction. This leg is already probably feeling pretty warm. When you're done with your hip circles, let's open back up to a three-legged dog. Again, the hips are even, pushing into the shoulders. And then we're going to draw that right knee in as we round the upper back. And then place the right shin down on the mat, like we're setting up for our half pigeon on the right side. Keep the back toes tucked. From here, settling the hips onto the mat. We're going to draw the hands to heart center. Again, you can use the mat for steadiness if you'd like, but we're going to push into that front shin, squeeze the glutes, and lift ourselves up off of the mat for an active pigeon, and then lower. Lifting for 2, and down. Lift for 3, and lower. Lift for 4, and lower. And lift for 5, and lower down here. We're going to take those active passes from half pigeon to extending the leg out in front of us. To do that, we're going to shift over onto the right hip. Bring the left foot around, flex the left foot, and then reverse that. Draw the left leg behind, extending it out long, really reaching through that left leg. Return to pigeon. That's for 1. Shifting, moving forward, and bring it back, extending long for 2. 3 more to go. Extend it out in front of you. Reach it back. The hips should start to feel pretty warm here, especially after moving it to both sides. The right side has already been working pretty well. 1 more. Extend it out long. Bring the left leg back. From here, place the hands onto the mat. We're going to lift up, tuck the back toes, draw the right knee into the chest, and then step it back for your plank pose. Again, we're going to move into awkward plank. So you may want the arms or the hands placed a little bit wider than the shoulders, and the back feet maybe a little wider than your hips, giving you a wider base, a little more opportunity to hold the balance. From here, maybe coming onto the right fingertips, maybe the 2 fingers, maybe 1. If you're ready, you could take the right arm alongside the right ear, and then start to lift the left leg. See if it's there for you. If you have awkward plank, can you draw the knee and the elbow together? This is a challenge. Super hard for me, something I'm still working on. We'll try to do 3. And then 3, reach it out long. Hold your awkward plank. Return back to plank, lower the foot, start to shift forward, shoulders in front of the wrists, bend the elbows for your chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Shifting back to your downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, start to step or jump forward. Place the feet in between the hands, flat back, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, slight bend in the knees. We're going to come up to mountain. Small back bend, and draw the hands down to heart center. Moving into our chair sequence, we're going to inhale, draw the big toes together, separate the heels, bending at the knees, shifting the hips back, and then bring the arms out in front of you. From here, let's allow the fingertips to grace the floor, just lowering ourselves even deeper, opening the arms up to airplane wings. Reversing it, fingertips touching the floor, arms out in front of you, push up to your mountain pose. From mountain, let's go ahead and lower, shift the hips down, arms out in front of you, 1 movement, fingertips to airplane wings. And then reversing it, touching the floor, coming up, pressing up. Last one, lower down. Grace the floor with your fingertips. Open up to airplane wings. Keep the chest open. And then let's reverse it. Come back up to your mountain pose. Bring the hands to heart center. When you're ready, we're going to shift the weight over into the left foot. Draw the right knee into the chest. Give it a little squeeze. And then we're going to take that hand to big toe pose. Left hand on the hip, the right peace fingers around the right big toe. Extend the right foot out. And then, if you can, take the balance, open the right leg out to the side. Inhale, draw the knee back into center. Keep the leg lifted, but release that toe with your hand. Holding that in front of you, we're going to move from this extended leg position to our warrior 3, starting with the hands on the hips, and then start to shift back, pressing back with the foot, moving forward, keeping the hips even, open the arms up to airplane wings. And then from here, we're going to shift up, keeping the torso upright, flexing the foot, lifting the leg as high as you can. And then let's extend back for 2. Inhale, lift up. Last one, let's extend back, opening up into our warrior 3 pose. From warrior 3, we're going to take the hands and place them down in front of us, about 8 to 10 inches. Allow the head to drop down, and then the right foot to lift. Really extend through that right quad, coming into your standing splits. From your standing splits, we'll bend that right knee. Start to draw the right knee in to the chest, maybe rounding the upper back. And then from here, we're going to extend. Allow the leg to go nice and tall. Maybe the head drops a little further. From here, we're going to draw the right knee in. Extend it up into your standing split. And draw it in once more. Extend it up, standing split. From your standing split, can you softly allow that back foot to touch the earth and come into runner's lunge? Runner's lunge, let's plant the hands. Step the foot back, coming into our downward facing dog. Take a nice inhale. Exhale it out through the mouth. One more inhale. Exhale it out through the mouth. From here, we'll all lower the knees, untuck the toes, and come into a child's pose. Taking a moment to close our short and active yoga practice. Hopefully you got your heart pumping and you got some blood moving in today's yoga cardio class. On the next inhale, you can rise up, or you can spend a little more time in your child's pose rest if you feel like you want to take that this morning. And I hope you enjoyed this very fast yoga cardio class. All you really need to do is just get moving, and some vinyasa classes, if you flow fast enough, you're going to be out of breath. I feel like I feel out of breath just after that very first class for myself this morning. As always, I hope you enjoyed this. We still have about a week left of our JanYOUary challenge and several great short classes coming up this week. I hope you have a great day. Make it a good one. Bye.